arms and our legs, that's the extremity part of it. And then our 3 slides over there. You guys want me to go through the bones?
Yeah.
So we have clavicle, our collarbone, and if that's laying out on the table, what is it? Clavicle, what does it articulate? Medially with the sternum, specifically the manubrium, and laterally with the scapula, specifically the acromion process. The clavicle articulates in the middle and the lateral side, the sternum and the scapula, or if they get specific, the manubrium is the top of the sternum, and that part of the scapula is the acromion process. Then the scapula, we have the spine of the scapula. If we're above it, the supraspinous. If we're below it, the infraspinous fossa. The points are the acromions, and then we have the glenoid fossa. What articulates in the glenoid fossa? The humerus. What part of the humerus? The head of the humerus. Or we could have the humerus laid out and tag the head and say, where does this articulate in the glenoid fossa? We have the head, we have the tubercles, and we come down. We come down in anatomical position. And we have the capitulum, which articulates with the radial head. We have the trochlea, which articulates with the ulna. The radius is easy. Radial head, radial tuberosity, and then on the ends we have the points, the styloid processes. The ulna is the one that has a lot of things to it. The ulna has the half moon, which we call the semilunar notch or the trochlear notch. The semilunar notch or the trochlear notch articulates with the trochlea. That makes sense. The semilunar notch also articulates with the olecranon fossa, so that groove fits in the divot. So the trochlear notch fits into the olecranon fossa. The back of the ulna is the olecranon. That part right there is our olecranon. And then where the ulna and the radius articulate is that little grooved out area, the radial notch. So any of that can be labeled on the ulna. The ulna is the one that has lots of stuff. The radius, head, tubercle, styloid process. Easy peasy, articulates with the capitulum. The ulna is the one that's got a lot of stuff on it. Then we attach to the carpal bones, the metacarpals, and the phalanges. Yeah. Carpals, metacarpals, phalanges. Right. Questions about upper extremity. Then we have the pelvis bones. We call those the os coccyx. The top is the ilium. The front where it comes together is the pubic. Where it comes together, pubic symphysis. And then we sit on the ischiums back here. The acetabulum, the big hole, is considered part of the os coccyx. What articulates in the acetabulum? The head of the femur. If we tag the head of the femur, where does the head of the femur articulate? In the acetabulum. The notch is the obturator, or the hole is the obturator foramen, and then we have the sciatic notch. And where the two sides come together is the sacroiliac joint, the SI joint. Then we get into the femur. The femur has the head, the femur has the neck, and then it has the big chunky parts. Those are called trochanters. Up here they're called tubercles, down here they're called trochanters. If it's the biggest part, greater trochanter, littler part, lesser trochanter. Then we go down to the end, and we have condyles, medial on the inside, lateral on the outside, and the patellar surface, where the kneecap grooves. The lower leg, tibia, fibula, of the medial condyle and the lateral condyle, the tibial tuberosity. And then the fibula articulates with the tibia. We come down to the ends, and they both have a malleolus. If we're on the medial side, medial malleolus, from the outer side lateral malleolus. And that's what forms the sides of the ankle. So sometimes the question is, what forms the ankle joint? The tibia, the fibula, and the talus. That's the top of the tarsal bones. Tibia, fibula, and talus. What bones does the femur articulate with? So we'll have a femur out there and they'll say, what does this articulate with? Up here, the os coccyx and the acetabulum articulates with the patella, and it articulates with the tibia. It does not articulate with the fibula. So that's what they'll do, is they'll lay out the tibia, the fibula, the patella, the os coccyx, and maybe a humerus or something. Definitely doesn't articulate with any upper arm bones. So it's going to be ilium, patella, tibia is what the femur articulates with. What forms the ankle joint? Tibia, fibula, talus. And then when we're looking at all these top bones, those are all talus bones. We only have to name two, the tarsal bones. The talus is on top, the calcaneus is the big chunky one. Talus, calcaneus, metatarsals, and tarsals. And that is your appendicular skeleton.
On the malleolus, Dr. Graham, can you show me again, what does that have to do with the three?
They sit on either side of the talus.
Okay,
So these come down and form the edges of the ankle joint, the tibia and the fibula, and the talus.
Okay, and the malleolus sits on either side.
Right, the malleolus just straddles the talus.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's it. So you'll find